Hey Sierra, how's it going?
Hi, good. How are you doing, Peter?
Very good. Thank you for joining me in today's interview. And for those of viewers that don't know who Sierra is, Sierra Brenciaglia. She's a young lady just graduated from University of San Francisco, and she used to work with me a few years ago. When I was at Pacific Advisors, my financial advisory firm, and she left our work and obviously going to college. And I can't imagine how time flies. And it's already 2 years later, and there she is graduating and stepping into the next phase of her career. And I asked her to be on this interview today because I thought what would be a relevant conversation to have with a young professional today, a young person today, as she, graduate inside of this COVID-19 situation where businesses still seem to be shutting down and no one is hiring, and people are concerned about their company's profits. And man, how is a young person manage graduating and going into the next phase of her life? So thank you again for sitting with me today on this interview. What was your major?
Psychology.
Okay, right on. And how did you pick psychology as a major?
I chose psychology. I felt very interested in it at a young age. I was told when I was really young, like, oh, you're good at reading the room. And that's when I was probably like 10, 11. And then I took a psychology class in high school. And that's when I was like, oh, okay, this seems like the right career path for me. It feels like it's a good fit. And very interested in like personality traits, like all the different aspects, mental health, especially.
Right on. And what do you plan to do with your degree?
The end goal is to be a mindfulness cognitive behavioral therapist. Very specific. I wanted to do like maybe clinical psychology, but I could see myself working at like a university or a community college in the counseling center.
Okay.
Potentially, yeah.
That's a mouthful to say.
It is. Yeah. Mindfulness cognitive behavioral.
Mindfulness cognitive behavioral
therapist. Yeah.
Therapist. Got it. Okay. I'll be mindful of that. If I need that, I'll call you.
Okay.
That's great. Awesome. So how did you like your experience at University of San Francisco?
I loved it. It was I was only there for about a little over a year, so it was pretty short. I wish it was actually longer because I enjoyed it so much. It was probably one of the better years of my life so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually felt very connected. So I know San Francisco decently well because I grew up in the Bay Area.
Yes.
And so I would travel there a lot, but I just felt, there was always something to do. And I felt pretty connected to the school and to the city itself, to like the surrounding area. And I wasn't, I was about an hour from home. So it was a perfect balance.
Beautiful. How was the graduation experience? I mean, was there a graduation today?
Well, I could say it was kind of non-existent. Or we didn't have a ceremony.
No.
But we did do a senior slideshow for the psychology department. And that was basically you send in a couple photos and you send in some like a tribute and maybe some quotes or whatever you want to add to your slide.
Yes.
And then the department head put it together and it was just a video of a slideshow. And that was what we had. Wow. And then I got my cap and gown in the mail.
I did see that.
And it started to feel more real, I think. Yes. I was like, oh, wow, okay. And then, of course, I was a little bummed about not being able to see my friends again before I leave. But then I did a photo shoot last week with my dad and my stepmom and stepbrother. And we had dinner. And yeah, I mean, it was still nice, but.
Yeah. Nice. Well, was it, what were the classes already on, obviously California is in shelter in place. And so I guess the last quarter of the class, you guys were already doing it online or via Zoom?
Yeah, so we did 8 weeks of class on Zoom.
Oh my God.
And I had mostly a lot of papers due at the end of the term, but then I also had a couple presentations. So we just did Zoom recording just like this. This was our presentation. And yeah, it was just it was a lot of the classes did transition well because my classes are just a lot of discussion based and like upper division psychology classes. So discussion based. So it worked, but I couldn't imagine doing a math class on Zoom.
Yeah, I hear. So how did you feel about all of that? I mean, did you feel like there's something missing for you? where you missed out, or did you feel like, hey, this is just what it is, and I'll deal with it?
Well, I felt both. I felt mixed feelings. I felt that
Really?
I missed going to campus and like walking on the campus and seeing familiar faces, and even sitting in class. Like I actually grew to really miss it. And then you realize that you don't want to, you want to savor whatever you're doing, because it could change and you don't know when that's going to change, and just take advantage of the time that you have on campus, or maybe,
Yeah.
and even on Zoom, like trying to see the positives in it, like, okay, we're all in this together,
Yeah.
and, everyone's experiencing this, not just, if you are feeling something, someone else is probably also feeling that too. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe you're feeling unmotivated, tired,
Yeah.
whatever it may be.
Your intuitions are absolutely right. You will make a great therapist.
Thank you, Peter.
You are a great listener. And you are
You.
very intuitive emotionally. That's awesome. Very cool. So you're actually, it's definitely a mixed feeling, right? Right now. So, but you're actually able to see the positive side of it, right? See, what's possible, and, what you can make do with the current situation. That's great. So now so I remember when I was graduating college, right? Maybe even 6 months before, a year actually before I graduated, people are still like, there's the buzz in the air, right? People are start talking about finding a job, going to visit a career center. They're going to have a career fair. When I remember that I got my first job literally at a stadium, right? When all of the company came, and there's hundreds of people surrounded, at the table. And then, we were just all picking at the same job, but I got one. So it was really, really cool. What was it like for you guys? I mean, was the career center even open? Was there counselors available? Was there any career fairs that you went to? What was that process like?
Well, very different than the stadium experience, to say the least. But the counseling center was open, and I got a lot of emails saying, there's some Zoom meetings. There was definitely resources, so it wasn't completely shut off from, there was a chance to connect and to be a part of that. And I talked to a couple of my I had office hours and just talked to people who've gone through the same thing. Well, the job hunt, going through the job hunt, just kind of getting different people's perspective, even talking to my dad about it,
Yeah.
just getting some insight onto how to best go forward.
Yeah. Okay. So there are some resources available, like, company are still putting together like a Zoom opportunities for people. Did they come to talk about like what jobs that are available and how you can apply, or any of that?
Yeah. So just kind of learning how to, make your profile, especially now because everything's online. So LinkedIn, making your profile stand out is more like the theme of it, making everything, working on like resume workshops. I think it's just about like cultivating, getting everything ready, and then moving forward into the application process after that.
Yeah.
I almost think of this time as like an incubation.
Yes.
Or, I mean, you can think of it like you have maybe a little more free time, maybe not, but you have more time to kind of reflect, think, and then kind of like gather everything before you go launch forward. So
yeah, definitely. So now, from what you've gathered so far, and maybe in your conversation with your roommates who are alumni, does it feel like that in your field? Does it feel like that the companies are hiring, that they're doing well? They're being active, they're reaching out to you, or does it feel like just crickets out there? What is it like out there?
More so crickets, but
Really?
it is. I've applied to about 20 so far, and I have had an interview. And so this is over the past few weeks. And so I have had an interview, and then I'm waiting to hear back. They said it'd be about 2 weeks. And I've noticed, and a lot of the jobs I'm applying for are nonprofit. So there is a high need for mental health services and nonprofit. So I think a lot of people, it is a little bit slower than it might usually be in terms of interviewing and getting back. And I received about maybe 10 emails from the jobs that I've applied to that, hey, we're not actively hiring. And so I'm like, okay. So, and then they're like, we'll reach back out later. So it's a lot of waiting game too.
Yeah. but at least they're responsive and they're, they're in communication with you about what this current situation is. Do you feel like that, the hiring process be impacted by the pandemic that we have going on, that companies just are not sure what direction they're heading?
Yeah, I think so. I think just with especially finances, not knowing whether we can support new people on the team, and then just, if someone's being relocated, like traveling expenses. And I think, I think just a lot of uncertainty within not only the companies, but within everyone, that might be experiencing uncertainty throughout this.
I see. So the opportunities are not as plentiful as it seems. Okay. Well, awesome. Well, some of the positive side about the Silicon Valley is actually there's a lot of wealth here in Silicon Valley, and as a result, there's a lot of nonprofits, a lot of donor-supported nonprofit organizations that are really thriving here in Silicon Valley, and I'm sure when the COVID situation passes, and there's going to be more opportunities coming by for you.
For sure.
So what's next for you then, Sierra?
So this was the original plan. Before all of this happened, I was going to take a gap year and then move on to grad school after that. And I'm thinking I still want to do that. Even, with this, I think I've actually been looking at moving back to Quincy, Illinois for the year.
Really?
Living in San Francisco, it's a little expensive. It's and I do want to do a little bit of traveling. So I figured, so I'm from Quincy, Illinois. And it's a cute little town, and there's definitely a need for mental health related jobs there. And I think just in the medical, there's a lot of need for that, like telecare, counseling. And so, I could see myself there for the year, and have to start applying for grad school later this year. So
so you do want to go to grad school?
Yeah.
Well, that's very exciting. Do you have any idea where you might go or what program you want to specialize in?
Yeah, so I was thinking, so I actually spoke with an old counselor from USF yesterday, because I was like, should I go for master's? What's the best option here in terms of for what I want to do? And since I want to do the cognitive behavioral therapy, I could technically just get a master's in, like, I could do social work, master's in social work, master's in mental health. But I think since I do, long down the road, I see myself doing some teaching. So I think I will go for probably a PhD or a PsyD. Yeah.
Well, that's really cool. What inspires you about teaching?
I just find myself, like, I love to share things that I learn. And I think going into this field, obviously years and years of experience later, then I can teach it to people like me.
Yes.
Yeah, in the future.
Yeah. You also participate in local Toastmasters, don't you?
No, that's my dad. He's actually on a meeting right now.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
Please say hi to him after this.
Okay, well.
Did you tell him that we were doing this?
Yeah. Yep.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I haven't seen you and your family for quite some time, so it'd be cool to connect again soon. Awesome. Let's see. What other questions do I have for you? So what are you going to do if you do take a year off, and what do you think you're going to do?
Well, I'm going to keep applying, keep looking for, I know I'll find something eventually, and I'll be working. I've applied to mostly, I think I'm going to be in the Midwest, but there's still a chance that it could happen out here. So just waiting to hear back. And then, just next steps with more school, but taking a little break.
Nice.
Yeah. Just for work experience, I think.
Maybe doing some traveling as the world opens up again.
Yeah. Later on.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, I'm really excited for, what you're creating, and thank you for taking the time to actually share with us what's it been like for you guys. I know that, there's definitely, the circumstances that are going on given the pandemic and the uncertainty that the companies are bringing, and, kind of the sluggish response in the hiring process. But what I'm hearing from, you is this just unmistakable energy about life itself, right? About what you're looking to create, and looking at the positive side of things, and looking at what's possible for you. And, not only creating a future in academic, but also, in contribution to, your community and all those around you, right? This is really awesome. So thank you for taking the time. And and going through this interview with me. And I really appreciate your contribution. And I'll definitely let you know when this is all edited and done for, and put on the before going on live. But I'll send you a copy to see what you like, and I'd love to get your input on what you think we can do at that point as well. So,
all right.
Before we complete, is there anything you would want to share with the world out there? Anything you would want to contribute to your viewers? Anything you would want to share with others that I have covered?
Yeah, I think I want to address the idea of, I heard this in a podcast last week. It's called quarantine perfectionism.
Quarantine perfectionism.
Quarantine perfectionism. I'll have to see what podcast it was from, but it's basically the idea that you feel a lot of pressure, that you have more time on your hands, so you need to be doing a lot of things with your time and filling your time with productive things. And so it can feel like a lot of pressure. I know I felt that, like I need to be applying. And there's, with the shelter in place, there's not a lot of separation between you're in your house mostly, and you want to do a balance, like leisure and work, studying, but it feels like it's all together. And so I've been trying to just remind myself that take your foot off the gas a little bit, because you're at home, so you feel like the book is just, there's books over there and they're staring at you, like you need to work hard. But I think just taking some time to connect, maybe make some phone calls to people you haven't spoken to in a while, read a book, one that's a leisurely fun book. It doesn't have to be, there's a lot of pressure to
doesn't have to be learning Python or anything like that, or do your own. I got it.
So I just want to share that, because I think this is, it's been a couple months, and I feel like it gets, there's a lot of hard days, and there's some days are easier than others. And I think just trying to remember that not every day has to be, you don't have to produce so much every day. You can take a break and take some time.
Thank you. That's really wise, actually. That's really wise. As you were sharing that, I'm just reflecting what Lisa and I have been doing, and we have been busy. I mean, we're doing so much in the past month. I feel like a whole year have gone by. I've met more clients and talked to more people, and on top of that, we started a whole new social media campaign for her business and my business.
You're doing cooking, right?
Yeah, we're doing cooking. You've seen our cooking shows at home. We're sharing, our recipe with people. She's just got her first order of a birthday cake and, chocolate pieces. So now we're making them like, nice little package we send to people. It's just amazing things that we're doing. But definitely, we are often working until 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, getting up at 8, 9 o'clock. Again, having to walk the dogs and take care of everyone that lives in the house, and the cat, and it's busy, I can tell you. So
it almost feels busier in a way, right? Because you feel like like I said, the pressure, right, to do more. Yeah.
So thank you. So remember to take the gas, take your foot off the pedal, right? Breathe and read a good book and relax and enjoy life. Smell the roses, they say, while you're at it. Cool. Awesome. Anything else?
That's all I have now for today.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for your wisdom and your time.
Thanks for having me on your show.
Absolutely. Well, take care. We'll see you again soon, Sierra.
Great. Bye.
Bye.